We begin with Celtics last night and that Porzingis injury. Mazz, what do you think?
I smell bacon.
Uh-oh.
Porked.
Think so?
Yep, that's what I think. I think it's bad news. And I tend to think the worst with these sorts of leg injuries anyway, but if I'm going to sit here and tell you that when Kevin Durant had a calf injury, it's a precursor to Achilles, or that when Giannis has it, it's a precursor to Achilles. It might not be an Achilles now, but what they're really worried about is the Achilles. I feel the same way about Porzingis. And let's say that for now, it's just a calf strain. I think that's going to take a while. I don't think that that's a 1 week injury. I think that that is a month, maybe longer. Now, could he be back in a month to play in the finals? I guess. But I rule out nothing, okay? And we don't even have the details on it yet. But I'm telling you, I am alarmed. I do think they can win it without him. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think they can. It would require some other guys on the team to step up, which we can get to in a minute. But in Porzingis specifically, problem. Big problem.
It's less than ideal, right? I mean, they are going to need him, I think, to win the title. But to get out of the East, I don't think it should trip them up all that much. And it seems to me, at least based on the reporting and his tweet, like almost immediately last night, talking up Derek White, like they probably dodged a bullet. Okay, so there's no tear or anything like that. But you're right, Mazz. Like, look what this just did to Giannis. It seems like the same kind of thing. And it feels like it's the precursor to something worse with the hamstring or Achilles or something like that. But for now, I don't know. I'm not going to sweat it that much because it's still on Tatum and Brown. The expectations shouldn't change all that much.
Didn't his tweet say, I'm good with the
with like a
flexing emoji, whatever?
Well, that might mean good in that.
So if he's not good, why would he tweet that mess?
Because everybody puts smiles and.
Giannis didn't. I mean, not that I know of. If he did, forgive me. But I don't think Giannis, after he went down against the Celtics, tweeted out, I'm good with the flexing emoji.
The old Arm & Hammer.
Yeah, I always look, and maybe it's a Celtics thing. I always doubt the injury reports.
I don't trust the Celtics as far as I can throw them.
I always doubt them. I do. And I'm sorry, this guy's got a history of injury, a history of breaking. And so I think he's brittle. I think it's just who he is. Look at him. I mean, he looks, if you breathe on him, he looks like he's going to snap in half.
Well, given the aesthetics of how it happened and how it looked, I mean, it was like, oh boy. I mean, non-contact, his reaction was... I mean, I feel like we probably all thought it like, oh, he's done. Like, he acted like, oh, my God, he knows he just did something horrible.
Absolutely.
So there's that, too. I mean, it's hard to not have that burned in your head.
Okay, so his reaction.
Yes.
In the moment. But then his reaction after the game, I'm sorry, I pay attention to all the social media. I don't follow it personally, but when I see it, I think that's where the truth-telling happens. Again, like that's where you first find out everything.
Yeah. In most cases, you'd see like a broken heart emoji if it was really bad, I feel like. I read into it, too. I think you have to. So it can feel worse than it actually was. They do the quick MRI. I know he had the walking boot walking out, but maybe he heard better news.
Now, look.
So my guess is that was in response to the Achilles news. My guess is he thought it was an Achilles initially.
Yeah.
And if you watch the play, it happens when he puts his foot down. Right, his foot lands.
Yeah. Oh
flat.
no, it felt Achilles-y.
Okay, so I think he thought, I'm boned. It's Achilles. We're screwed. And then they went in and they touched the back of his leg and they recognized it's not, ruptured. And he's like, okay, well, we can get past this. Except I'm still worried about it if it's just a calf tear or a calf strain. Those things don't, they take a while to heal.
So I'd be worried about him. Period. Because he's
just fragile.
Popsicle stick.
Ginger.
Yes.
He is ginger, man.
Yeah, look, and again, he's built the way he's built. I'm not blaming him for it. I'm just telling you, look at him. He's a freaking walking popsicle stick.
I mean, he is. And I just, if he gets through this, I don't know how he gets through the whole, it's just sort of a matter of time before something pops, snaps. He's just too ginger. He's just light, brittle, whatever.
Do you know how many times they sat him this year so that stuff like this wouldn't happen?
Yeah.
Like they did it over and over and over again. When the playoffs come and you got to play every other day, basically, is what it amounts to. So there is a little bit more intensity. It's not back-to-backs, but there's an intensity to the offseason schedule. It's 6 games in 12 days.
So I think there is a second guess. There were two different injuries. I don't know if you know this. They reported left ankle and right calf. And I don't know what broadcast you were watching. TNT kept going back to about 3 possessions before he took himself out. He was spinning in the lane, and he hobbled. He came, and I remember watching it, saying he doesn't look right. He's not running right. Something's wrong with him. And the TNT went back, and about 3 possessions before, he turned his left ankle, making a spin move in the lane. Turned his left ankle. And I think at some point, he even went and talked to Mazzulla about it, but he kept going. And then he popped the right calf, and I think he was favoring one side or whatever. He was already limping around out there and maybe overcompensating or whatever. So there is like a second guess. Like when he turned his ankle, and that big guy turns his ankle, and you have this commanding lead.
Get him out.
Why did you get him out of there? I was surprised he stayed in for it, and it wasn't long. It wasn't a minute or more. It was a couple trips up and down the floor, but I thought it was obvious. And it turns out, well, that was the left ankle, and then he popped the right calf. So, like, why don't they just take him out right then and there? Like, that's a second guess. But then again, I think it's just a matter of time with him.
He's a time bomb. He is. Look, your question's fair. I'm not telling you it's not fair. So, but if it's not this game, it'll be another one. Like, I think that's the issue with this guy.
So if that's the case, then you keep him out till the finals. Because, again, the East is set up for them. Like you said just yesterday, they should lose maybe 2 more games the rest of the way to the finals. You keep him out until June.
Pretty much.
I don't think they're going to even have a choice. I think that's what they're looking at, if you ask me.
All right, thoughts on that? 617-779-0985. Then I want your take on how they played last night. I thought nothing of it. I thought it was imposing their will. Not even had a great night, but okay, so they're 5-6 deep, and their 4th or 5th player, whatever Derek White is, had a night. Okay. Miami cannot shoot the basketball. I think it's painful to watch them shoot the basketball. I think the Celtics played good defense, but nothing over the top. It wasn't like Game 3 the other night. I think they just played representative, good playoff defense, and Miami can't shoot. It's painful trying to watch them put the ball in the basket.
Goes to show what a fluke Game 2 was for them.
But either way, like I didn't think much of it. Just sort of I thought Celtics exerted themselves. This is what they are. That's what the Heat are, and the score represented it. And it was another good playoff performance by the Celtics. I was listening on my way into the television, listening to our post-game show on Joe Murray with Joe Murray and Strome Battle, and they got call after call of Celtics fans complaining. I'm looking at my call screen right now. First call on the board, Brady in Boston. Celtics get bored and lazy at the end of games. Email that came into my email box just this morning. Celtics are too stupid and soft to win at all. Jackson in Western Mass, frequent emailer. The Celtics might have won last night, but they looked terrible doing it. If it weren't for Derek White's heroics, the series is tied 2-2. Even with them, the team as a whole shut it down in the 4th quarter and almost let the Heat back in the game. It's beyond embarrassing and unacceptable to this point. It's offensive. Even my girlfriend, who doesn't watch sports, well, then why is she your girlfriend, Jackson? I'm kidding. Even my girlfriend, who doesn't watch sports, was frustrated watching the Celtics last night. She couldn't understand the lack of urgency and movement. I told her to welcome to the Celtics experience. They flash their talent, expect the other team to quit, and then play stupid iso ball. People are sort of agitated by the way they played last night.
I didn't think they played great.
Yeah?
I didn't think they played great.
They played trash last night, Mike. They played absolute trash. They weren't interested.
Okay.
I thought in the early part.
Hold on. Let's go to Mazz on Canal Street. Go ahead.
Okay, at the beginning and at the end, I thought they were garbage. In the middle, they were pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. They didn't play with anywhere near the intensity they did in Game 3. They didn't come out with the same type of pressure. They let Miami hang around for parts of that game. Miami was dreadful, too, by the way.
Mazz, they can't shoot the basketball.
They can't shoot. Okay, they can't really, again, and that was one of those nights. Last night, Miami missed, but they got the same shots they got in Game 2, particularly in the first half. They got plenty of wide-open looks, and they just missed them. So the Celtics, Game 3 was because of the Celtics' defense. Game 4 was because Miami blows without Butler and Rozier in particular. So not that those guys are snipers, but they're better than what they got. I thought Jason Tatum, particularly in the early part of that game, was freaking awful. Awful.
I'm surprised to hear all this. Let's go to James in Waltham. You're up next with Felger and Mazz. What do you think, James?
Hi, Mike. Hi, Tony. Hi, Jim. Love the show. Absolutely love the show. But I have to tell you, the Celtics played like trash the last 3 games. I thought that they only had a good second quarter in Game 3 where they were playing a lot of give-and-go basketball, and that's about it. Their defense last night, They weren't really closing great, in my opinion. And the fact that Miami missed, that game last night should have been a lot closer than it actually was, but Miami couldn't shoot the basketball. I thought that Miami had a lot of good open shots, and I'll take the rest of your commentary off the air. Thanks for taking my call.
Good call.
In my opinion.
I'm surprised so many people are agitated by how they played.
Even with those double-digit runs that Miami had kind of late, I still expected, and what ended up happening was what I expected. Like, someone hit like a dagger three and stopped that run eventually, and that was the end of it. Like, I don't know. It was a little sloppy, but I wasn't offended by it like these last two callers were.
Look,
I'm
I'm grading them on some level of artistic measure.
All right.
Okay, that's what I'm telling you, is that it wasn't a pretty game, and I didn't think they executed particularly high level. You know, Jaylen Brown went to how many turnovers did Jaylen Brown have last night?
Yeah, he went great.
Six? Six turnovers?
Okay. 6 turnovers. Unacceptable.
There were a number of drives where I thought the Celtics went to the bucket and didn't finish. Again, earlier in the game, even Drew Holiday, who's typically money from inside the paint, missed a couple of easy little floaters. Brown missed a drive to the bucket. Tatum, I thought, was complete dog crap in the early part of the game. I really did. So the guy that saved them was White. White was unconscious. You expect him to get 14 on a night. He had 22 at halftime, I think it was. So without him last night, I think that thing would have been 85-84. I think it was that sort of game. And so I didn't think they played well. Now, again, it's not going to matter. I'm not upset by it. But if you're asking me to assess their level of play, garbage. I thought it was garbage.
I think that's a little strong.
Their defense wasn't even. If they played a real team last night, they would have lost.
I'm telling you, Miami's shooting last night was really hard to watch.
The Heat could very easily be up 3-1 in this series.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's how annoyed I am at how bad the Celtics have played in this series.
The Jaime Jaquez, is that how you pronounce it? I love that guy. But
he can't shoot.
He can't shoot anything.
Mazz, how you've lost to Caleb Williams, the amount of times you've lost him, just watch him try to shoot the basketball. That is not how you shoot the basketball.
You mean Caleb Martin?
Caleb Martin, whatever I said. Caleb Martin. I think he shoots when he's actually on the way down. You know what I mean? Like he's got this hitch, which we've all seen, but he's got this thing. I actually think he's on the way back down when he releases it, and you've lost to that dude. A number of times in the biggest spots possible. You've made that guy look like Ray Allen, and I don't think he knows how to shoot the basketball. So I don't know how you've lost to this team at the amount of times you've lost to them. But, again, that's hard to watch. I think it was more their shooting than your defense last night. But still, I didn't think it was that bad, but a lot of people do.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.